floundering in these mid games when they fall behind.
Absolutely. Now, looking at runes, no surprises absolutely anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just completely what you'd expect.
Conqueror for Lemus. Maybe the only
yeah, but you're against
up for debate. Yeah, up for debate choice there, as probably doesn't need the fleet footwork this game, so makes sense.
Now, I imagine if you're ground zero now, especially in this stage of the game, you'd kind of want to slow things down, but I also don't know if they can get away with it because the Smolder is going to scale. Now, I think, honestly, the scaling is in favor of ground zero, but you always just have to be so scared of the Smolder just randomly taking over a fight, right? Even though it's not got the same power as before, and I think you get to a 35-minute fight, you would be favoring the side with the Zeri and with the brand. It can just be so scary to sort of get to that stage and the entire game, your entire playoffs life is just on one team fight.
I think we have changed the Corki skin for Fido.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
So maybe prefers this in the Lucian matchup.
This is a really irritating auto attack
sound. I hate the sound. That is what has made me notice the skin immediately. And Jimmy, and no E needed, just dodges that Q out of Fido.
Oh, this is such a terrible sound.
Yeah, cut the tape.
All right, let's go see these tanks battle in the top lane.
Trade of Qs, I'm surprised Fido doesn't start E. I think that is usually the start onto the Lucian.
Yeah, I also agree, but he is doing well in these trades thus far.
Yeah,
certainly losing out on mana, though, is the problem, yeah. And that's one advantage you get from the E. It does cost less. And now this is the stage of the lane that generally the Lucian is going to be starting to be able to win, as he did miss the Q there, and that would have made a substantial difference in that trade.
Yeah. And it is because the Lucian can just dash out of these Qs. Wako actually dodging out of Lemus's Q, and that trade not looking that great for ground zero, despite them hitting level 2 first.
Yeah. Really agree, and I was going to say, obviously this lane doesn't look quite as good for ground zero as it did for Frank last game, but that is just because Wako started up, you know, the tier, which is kind of unfair.
Oh, what happened to all of Bian's HP?
Oh, he's staying even on farm thus far, though. Yeah, I don't know. Jiang might just be a magician. There is a good chance that he is actually just a mage.
Oh, how did he not get that cannon? A little bit unlucky for Thean, as Jiang does take a tower shot and
he just gobbles up a tower shot for fun.
Suffering a bit on mana. Let's see if Jiang can recognize the brand is here.
Yeah, he saw the scrying orb and obviously has that ward down. But
wow, he is not afraid.
Let's not walk towards the brand. But,
no.
Oh, it's a disaster. Now, hold your horses.
Yeah, this might be
a power spike.
Yeah.
This is a power spike for ground zero.
He needs one more death.
Fido and the side of ground zero have won, I think, more games when he has solo died than they have lost.
Yeah, and actually ends up carrying those games. Maybe dying in lane solo, lights a fire under the sky. Does lose both the summoners now, though. Doesn't just flash the Lucian Q in time. You're never looking for kills here as the Corki.
He's as well.
And you are so okay with this Lucian recalling.
I think Jimmian baited that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Jimmian didn't think he was out of vision, but...
Yeah, and you're so okay with the Lucian recalling there, I think, as the Corki has traded flashes with Jiang.
Yeah, I'm not sure which direction they would have gone. It looks like it probably was Tien running.
Yeah, Jiang's wave is a lot better. Looks like it's frozen right outside his tower. Speaking of, Jimmian doing the exact same thing to Fido, who has no flash and has to be careful.
Oh, actually landing that phosphorus bomb. Yeah, Jimmian not quite quick enough. I think actually that's a pretty good trade for Fido, like time to trade, I should say, because you want to be dodging the phosphorus. Yeah, no flash. Flash, yeah. I mean, Kaiwing making that look clean as.
Yeah, what can you do?
There's the second death though. Yesterday against Team Bliss, not against Team Bliss, against J Team. This was he didn't die again, and he just started Giga carrying.
Yeah, did the most damage in that game. So. That's right. Does perfectly fine from behind Fido, but it's going to find himself very far behind this game against a very good player in Jimmian.
Yeah, but Minji no slouch. I think we're on here. I think we could be on a ground zero win.
Leandri's this time around for Gemini, as he is solo AP on his team.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, he hasn't been going for that. Importantly though, ground zero, they are going to be picking up this first dragon, although Gemini's in the area and he has flash, but Jimian isn't. This should just be going over, especially when you have the Smolder.
Highwing puts the moves on Kurak. There's just a Smolder behind this Alistar. Alistar no flash.
Wako dodging away, and here comes the Maokai. We found our way here onto Schönfire. Crashdown's fantastic from this Rel, but Schönfire might just be going down. Wako trying to find the kill. He is going to be able to. Actually, Kaiwing's the one that gets the credit, as Lima's going to have to flash away, and Wako finds one more Q for good measure, and it's a 4-0 start in favor of Frank, as they are now up 2k gold at the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, Jimian manages to get all that priority in the mid lane, uses it well to roam down, picks up another kill for himself. As I'm surprised they don't immediately turn on to the flashless Alistar here. They're more busy zoning away Gemini on the Maokai.
Man, just
you can pretty safely go on an Alistar here when the only damage protecting him is a Smolder and a Maokai, but Ground Zero instead decide to go for Gemini. Cannot kill him, has his flash available. Limas has to use his on the way out.
Looks like Kurak showing his face mid here, trying to help out his mid laner, but it will be matched now by Kaiwing. It was important, though, to note that they did get that first dragon. They are now on the board in terms of that objective, and it does mean that, you know, this dragon stacking going to be slower, as well as just keep in mind, something I said last game, is you kind of want to force this fourth dragon. That soul fight before Smolder's able to get those stacks fully online. He's sitting at 35, which is certainly not where he want to be.
Yeah, abysmal stacking from Wako so far. Good play by the Ground Zero bot lane. Though Limas now finds himself flashless. Probably being beat to level 6 by the Smolder.
Yeah, I think the problem they're going to find so far in this game is that Jimian will be certainly capable of bridging that gap. 10, there's no flashes on the top side. He is just going to be taken out. That was essentially a solo kill, but the Nature's Grass coming through to all but ensure it.
Yeah, full sense of security because his jungler is...
Fido's still no flash available, but Schönfire's here as well as Kurak. Now Kaiwing might be in trouble, does get stunned up, Crashdown does come through, and Kaiwing is going to get taken out. That's the first of the game, and Fido importantly picking that one up.
Fido and Kurak, with the help of Schönfire, finally punished Kaiwing for using his flash early in this game. Not level 6 yet on the Alistar, so very vulnerable once he does use his combo. Gemini hits level 6 this game, immediately runs top to use it, picks up his top laner a kill as well. Gold lead getting pretty big for the side of Frank.
Yeah, an interesting last game, if you remember. Jiang actually went for the Sunfire Cape first. Now, this game, maybe making a change up and realizing if he had that Iceborne Gauntlet, he could possibly punish more. I'm not sure exactly the full process, but that, you know, you are able to stick on people a lot more when you have that frozen fist, that Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, and for the first time, Theon actually goes down in the lane on this Poppy. Maybe a little fatigue setting in. You can only play so many Poppy games.
Yeah, and it must be stressful too, especially, like, not to cast any flame, but Fido going down twice is going to put stress on the rest of the teams to try and find things, find action, to find gold. Yeah,
now with this Sheen on the... I'm surprised he doesn't go for tabbies, which we so often see into the Cassante.
Oh no, what happened here? He was able to get out, but that was a really strange interaction.
Yeah, that was very confusing. I think he eat through the Cassante while he was using... Oh, Fido gonna get... No flash on Kaiwing. So Fido will be spared. Is on his way to the rebound now. 1 kill.
Yep. He must be so annoyed with just how often Kaiwing's showing up at his wave. As soon as he leaves tower, there's just an Alistar sitting in his bottom bush waiting to try and punish him for ever daring to leave his tower.
The ward's cleared out early as well.
And he's kept even in farm, which is certainly going to bode well as he tries to scale it. And as we said, you know, if this game doesn't break open, hold up, though, as I say that, Lima's going to get a lot jumped on, get stunned, going to have to use that cleanse to get on out of there. But Nature's Grass coming through. They are looking for Limas, but going to change their attention now towards Kurak, as Limas very far away from the play.
Yeah, they managed to get out of here.
Yeah, as I was going to say, if this gold lead doesn't balloon, if Jimian's not able to find any play with the advantage he's got himself, as soon as 2 items are in line for Fido and the Corki, he's going to be completely fine and honestly probably stronger than this Lucian.
Yeah, that is the idea of the Corki pick. This 2-item spike is insane. You're no slouch with the Triforce, but I'll take the Lucian with the Blade at that point in the game. But once you get your items online, this Corki is such a menace. Bot lane of Ground Zero suffering a little bit, but They are okay for now. Shermfire again finds himself up about 20 CS with a lot of work to do in this game. Is on the board now.
Yeah, Fido's laying in a bad position as Jimmy does teleport back in and has that Blade of the Ruined King finished. Obviously forcing out Fido very, very heavily there in a massive trade. Dragon, though, started up by the side of ground zero. Now, Fido can get back to this play with his teleport, but for now is recalling, and so this sort of control over the bot side should be conceded. Wako clearing out that wave too, should be able to come up and join his team, although it's very hard for him to get through what is a massive amount of control on the bottom side. Dragon, 1.8k gold, and we don't have Nature's Grasp available, but Kaiwing has his headbutt and his pulverize. He finds a 3-man, and Schoenfire gets taken out by Wako as Kurak tries to turn around. He finds that crash down, finds that Magnet Storm, but Jimmy finds his 4th of the game on the other side. Lima's trying to find the damage, not really able to do so, never able to find an angle to get that lightning crash, to find that DPS, as his jungle was just taken down so damn quickly.
Yeah, the fight is over the moment it starts. Shermfire not quick enough for with his flash to react to Kaiwing's engage. You see the difference when you have flash on the Alistair and you don't have it on the Rel here. 2 grouped up is the side of ground zero. Both their carries, 3-man engage by Kaiwing.
Just insane out of Kaiwing there to be able to find that, and it's just unreal.
Vintage Kaiwing play, and yeah, as you said, Limas, just nothing to do. The fight's over the moment it starts.
And now Limas getting zoned off his wave here. It's Wako on the Smolder, but he's got all the priority in the world. Ground Zero touted the Smolder as a counterpick to the Zeri, and Wako's proving it.
Yeah, going for a Triforce on the Smolder this time. So the Nature's Grasp won't connect on Limas, and that should be the end of the play. Smolder not doing enough damage at this point in the game, though honestly, getting some good chunks onto Limas.
Yeah, and I don't hate the fact that he's going for the Triforce, because Lucian, being your mid laner, you know, at this stage of the game, only one other person can pick up the blue buff. Wako picks it up. So he's not going to have any mana concerns on the Smolder, which is why you go the Essence Reaver. And instead, Lucian, you know, second item will be getting the Essence Reaver for himself. So throughout this game, never really going to have too many problems with that mana bar as Jimmy, while Wako without the Essence Reaver generally would. Now, Gemini looking bot here. There is no cleanse on Limas, but he does have flash, and it seems like Frank aren't quite confident enough to pull the trigger.
Yeah, and they're about to take a pre-14-minute tower with a Smolder in the bot lane, our Frank. Kaiwing took demolished with a Smolder in his lane, which is very surprising, but has managed to proc it somehow.
Yeah, and 3v3 down here, and Kaiwing finds the engage, so his mum comes through, and Lima's trying to get his way out. This time not going to come through there for Kaiwing, as Wako taking a lot of damage here from the brand, but a lot of damage is not enough, as they are not going to find this Smolder, who is just wailing down damage on them. Kaiwing even going to use that headbutt to almost get himself out, but Kurak going to be able to confirm himself that kill. Now Gemini taking out the tower. Wako picks himself up that kill as Gemini makes his way out. Wako makes his way out, and Jimmy makes his way down. Triple kill for Wako on the Smolder. 4, 0, and 3 is he, and this tower is soon to be taken out as well.
Yeah, Fido is here again. Maybe he just should be in the mid lane, because he's not even going to be able to save this tower. Jimmy and even letting all these creeps die before taking the tower.
Yeah, and you see Jung covering mid, now pushing it in. That's more minions going to be lost for ground zero. He's already got 2 plates solo up in that top side. Obviously, yes, Gemini came through, used that Nature's Grasp, but it is just dominance around the map here in game number 3 for Frank Esports.
Yeah, and Limas is just so weak relative to the Smolder somehow. Gets engaged on here. Again, a 2-man. They're just stacking up too much against this Alistair at ground zero, and Kaiwing so quick to find these plays. No stun connecting from Shermfire there. Kind of just spells the end of this play. Another stun goes wide.
I thought Kaiwing had made it out, but luckily he did not. As
yeah, that would have felt amazing to connect with. Maybe trading a kill back onto Wako, but
Nature's Grasp coming out. Tien and Jiang battling up on the top side. Gemini comes in, does smite away that Rift Herald. Bad to worse now are things for the side of ground zero. Tien's going to have to flash away. Kaiwing might be able to find his way, however, onto this Poppy. Looks like Tien's able to make his way out, but again, it's the Rift Herald, it's the kill, and it's Frank Esports, who is so dominant and looking to stamp their ticket to that second stage of our playoffs, to meet against their adversaries in PSG, Talon, and DCG, to go against those LJL teams, and of course CFO, who they are so tightly contesting with this entire split.
And what a decisive game 3 so far for the side of Frank, looking to make this just a quick 3-0 and go home already, get ready for the next stage. One play has worked for ground zero, exactly one play on the mid lane, onto Kaiwing, on the Alistair. The other death, or the other kill that ground zero picked up, was just Kaiwing dying to facilitate a dive for his team. Otherwise, it's just been all Frank. all the grubs. I guess one dragon going the way of Ground Zero.
Yeah, I think one important thing to note, though, is these Oceanic teams, both Ground Zero and Team Bliss, have had amazing fortitude within the games to be able to try and find ways back. And now more than ever, the entire region is depending on that to be the case as Tien finds play here onto Jimmy and he manages to cancel out that jump and Jimmy's going to go down. I say the fortitude, this is a fantastic way to start as Tien picks up his kill up in that top side. It's a massive shutdown and it's much needed gold to the side of Ground Zero.
Yeah, and as you were saying, how well these Oceanic teams do play from behind, they managed to do... Ground Zero managed to do what Bliss did in the previous series, find Jimmy in on a very fed Lucian and get a shutdown.
Yeah, now Kurek going to be found by Jiang, does manage to dodge out of that Q3 and so should be completely fine here as Tien having free time up in that top side, but this bot lane is not winning as it is still a 4v4 and it does still have that Smolder. Yeah,
they do manage to defend Sternfire's red at least, but Tien should be perfectly fine here.
Yeah, he does try to cancel out that dodge, that headbutt pulverized combo, but Kaiwing just flashes, knocks up in the teleport for Jimmy and gets his payback up in that top side.
Wow, just so much damage. Already 2 items finished for Jimmy, and I thought Poppy was perfectly okay there. Should be very difficult for Alistair to get on him, but Kaiwing using his flash and kind of just a monster performance from Kaiwing so far on the Alistair this game.
Yeah, definitely my MVP if Frank are able to get this across the line, but it's Ground Zero who will not be allowing that to happen. They're going to keep fighting. Lemus, I mean, he needs to get his items online. He now has that static shiv. Same for Fido, who sits at his Triforce. He has a light amount of a power spike. They're going to give over this dragon. They're perfectly okay to do so. We need this mirror mana on our Corki, and we need it as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah. And we're going to need a lot of impact from Fido. He's not had impact on this Corki this series so far. Not doing as much damage as I think he should be doing, especially in the previous game.
Oh.
So, Gemini needs to punch that.
There we go.
There we go.
We'll do so. Now, this mid-tower even, without the Rift Shield or any of the sorts, is just going to go down. Rift Shield actually going to be used here, but they're not going to use it to get that last hit. Rather, going to use it on the second tower as Gemini continues to go forward, and Lemus being found on their side is able to get away there, but now he loses that dash. He loses so much ability to play around these team fights if Frank chooses to go for it, but ultimately Ground Zero, they just need to sit at this tower. They need to sort of hold back, try and bide their time. Fido on the top side gets himself an objective bounty, gets himself a tower.
Yeah, recalling.
Really enjoy that gold.
Yeah, would have been in big trouble if Jimmy was a little faster to get to him. But does get a little closer to his mirror mana now, as you can see the gold lead kind of leveling out. Not growing much past 6k now, but it is very early to have a 6k gold lead as Frank.
Well, Wako now picks himself up. The Spirit Shojin, Triforce and Spirit Shojin now completed. He is so strong. He's very close, actually, to getting that ultimate evolve as it's... Yeah, Fido, he's caught. There's no way out. He tries to get away. The flash still available, but he's not going to use it. There's no reason to as Jimmy picks himself up the 6th of the game.
Yeah, and that's just a vision control difference. Look at the amount of red dots on the minimap versus blue dots. I mean, there's one ward on the map right now for Ground Zero, while seemingly hundreds for Frank. They've set up the Panopticon in the enemy top jungle.
Yeah, they are just playing with map hacks, it feels right at this moment. It's just vision everywhere they possibly wanted, and it's not really, Ground Zero can't get the vision. It's not that they're not trying. It's if they walk into the jungle, they probably just get taken out, even in the numbers advantage, like a 3v4 or anything like that as Tien. Yeah, he's going to be collapsed on. Pathmaker going to be used, but used the wrong direction and just going to choose to hit this tower instead of Frank Esports, although damage going on to Tien, and we're actually just sending it. Definitely not going to kill that guy on the tower, though.
Yeah, Tien maybe didn't have his W up there to interrupt the alley combo. Might have been able to stun him under tower for a while. At least get the ulti out of Kaiwing, who you want to take some resources away from this guy. He's playing so well. Wako is the same level as the enemy top laner on the Smolder.
Jiang, he might get caught out here. It's been a problem he's had every now and then, but the flash available means he's able to get out, but that's an important cooldown.
Yeah.
They take away the flash. All it really costs them is just some regular cooldowns, I guess. Nothing at all. It's just a free flash taken away from Cassante.
Yeah, and it's so difficult when it's both the carries fed on the enemy team like this. You can probably commit a lot of resources on Ground Zero and take out the Lucian or the Smolder if you like, but you're going to have to find them both somehow, and that's a lot of work for Kurak, the rookie on this team.
Yeah, now Wako, he is 1 minion away, maybe one and a bit from completing his upgrade to getting to that 225 and to becoming the most fearsome champion here on the Rift. Now, again, it's not the be-all, end-all. It's not game over anymore when Smolder hits 225 stacks. It is just a bit of amplified damage and a burn. It's not, you don't even really consider the execute. It kind of feels like the collector execute in many ways.
Yeah, very placebo. But
the
still
sound is
very
cool.
strong.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think comparative to before and now, this
Fido again.
Yeah, Fido might just be caught out. Nature's Grasp not going to land on him, but Jimmy's going to be able to get that slow if he so chooses to, and Kaiwing's on the flank here. Fido will be caught out in that side lane. 1 and 4 is he now on the Corki.
Yeah, now Baron is an option potentially.
Oh yeah, they are so strong. Kaiwing half HP. Maybe it is scary to be in this pit up against the Brand, but there is no Corki for the side of Ground Zero. Kaiwing, he's finding his way in the Sharon fight. Does get stunned up. Kurak doing his absolute best here as the steadfast press is not going to connect, but that is a Pyroclasm and it's doing a reasonable amount of damage to these tanks, but not really enough to, I think, thwart any more further forward progress on the side of Frank Esports now.
Only does hit the tanks, and they do ultimately get Surefire's flash for very little investment on the side of Frank. They're happy with that. They're going to be able to punish that.
Yeah, and even with resets coming through, Wako on the Smolder will be able to clear out the waves and not give up any of this objective.
Ground Zero might just hit this.
Yeah, they do it fast, even though they are so behind. Again, this Brand champ does Baron faster than any other champion in the game, and Frank Esports do not realize it yet. They have no vision of it, but Gemini's coming over. As soon as he gets the sapling, they will be aware to it. How many times do we have to see Jimmy and do it? He doesn't have... Gemini does not have flash. He will know that this is going on now. 4k HP, 3k HP. Steadfast Presence going to come through. And Ground Zero, they find the Baron, but what is it going to cost him as Jiang does find his way into the pit. Surefire's is going to go down. No flash available for him on the Brand. 5 members of Ground Zero all being rounded up to that top side. 10 trying to tank up the culling. Will do a good job of doing so, but Kaiwing's on the flank. 3-man knock up again for this guy. Fido might just have to try and live. Lemus certainly is trying to do the same. 1 kill on the side of Ground Zero, but flash forward and Wako's here. And Wako's everywhere as all that stands is Kurak. He's trying to fight Gemini, but Frank Esports, they lose the Baron, but they clean up the team fight.
Yeah, it looked like Ground Zero maybe got away with a heist there on the Baron, but Frank, it's actually Wako with a flank on Smolder that catches them out along with Jiang's TP. Gemini eventually going to take out Kurak here. Both these tier 2s going to drop. Maybe all 3 tier 2s going to drop now, and the Dragon picked up. This is going to be one of the most negative Baron power plays you will ever see.
Yeah, now, importantly, they do give over gold. They were already bleeding gold, but they've taken Baron off the map, which is actually a kind of a win for Ground Zero, because if Frank got the Baron, the game might just end on the spot. So they've bought time in that regard, as Wako maybe taking out the passive burn, the 2 burn items. Oh my, look at his health, it's still burning.
Wow, he actually got so low. Nice ulti here from Thien to get Maokai out of the pit so they can secure the Baron, but I think at a certain point here, Ground Zero have to recognize there is no way out and it's time to fight. As Surefier gets 0 damage done in this fight.
Yeah, this was a 3v5 for a long, long time.
Yeah, they just had to fight, but didn't recognize it. Probably because of their lack of vision. They don't see the enemy Smolder. Nice Malphite ulti from Kaiwing, lands plenty of those in this game on the Alistar. Does go down for his sins, but I mean, Wako and Jiang able to clean up these kills.
Yeah, Wako coming in the late stage of that fight and just finding a couple of executes for himself. A triple kill there on the Smolder. But this game, I mean, it is looking dire. You're only down 8k gold, which we've seen, you know, defenses mount from even further behind. Generally, it's very hard to find a win. I don't know what the percentage of a win at this sort of gold deficit is, but it's got to be near on 0.
Especially when you factor in how early and the number of dragons that Frank have picked up too. These comebacks are a lot easier when you've got a couple dragons to your name. Kaiwing, 2 levels up on his counterparting. Kurak does have his 2nd rank of his ulti. Yeah,
Lima's going for a 2nd item Mortal Reminder. That's going to delay his power quite a bit. I get he wants the armor shred, the armor pen, but just so many stats this area would rather have.
And the Surefier has opted for this double burn build again. I can't help but feel like Rylai's must be the stronger item.
Yeah, I mean, he almost killed Wako in that last engage, so if he does find damage, it is a lot. But again, we saw Gemini building the Rylai's, right? You just try and delay and try and find so much disruption. Here comes an Nature's Grasp. This inhib will be going down eventually. Yeah, he's got that ult pop now. He'll be able to run on out of there as Culling comes through, and look at the health bars just melt.
Yep, that is bot and mid inhib gone now for Ground Zero. You probably just have to recall and try defend mid.
Oh,
look how much damage Wako's doing.
Yeah, Wako on the Smolder. It's a champ we hadn't seen in a long, long time until Lemus brought it out, and Wako using it against Lemus here in this game number 3 as Frank try and cement themselves into that second stage of the playoffs. Now this inhib mid lane will be falling as Frank... Oh, maybe it's not.
Yeah, they hang on to their mid inhib for now. There's no Baron. This is an impressive siege that Frank are able to pull off without a Baron buff.
Oh, flash from Kurek, but it's not going to be able to find Wako. This is the last fight Ground Zero going to have. He does go back forward, finds a really nice engage, but no one's able to follow up as Jiang goes flying out of the team fight and will choose to just teleport back in here now. It's a 4v5, and Wako is doing so much damage. That burn ticking, and the max range Q will connect, but Wako's burning. Wako's getting so low with these burn items are still ticking. They are still ticking. Oh my god, he survives.
Yeah, again, just not quite enough damage from Surenfire. On these burns, 10-0 now, Wako. Maybe the third inhib picked up. Lemus with a lot of wave clear on the Zeri. Jiang has to be careful.
Yeah, Fido as well. He has his flash up, but I mean, Jimmy, if he finds the angle, he is just going to one-shot anyone he goes on, working on his 4th item, as is Wako.
Yeah, look at how much damage the Smolder is doing, and at this point, you can't be concerned with taking out both carries. You have to kill this Smolder. Wako, no flash now. He flashed. He reacted to a Q flash from Rel in that fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I guess, ever since that, was it game 3 against Bliss? I can't remember now. Whatever game it was when he was playing Ezreal, it felt like that was his moment. He leveled up, finding that E away from Alador. It was game 3. And ever since then, he has just been completely uncatchable. This whole series long, every time Ground Zero try and do anything to Wako, he's just been able to narrowly survive, narrowly get to the right position. And now a Death Bush. Desperate times call for desperate measures. It's an 11k gold lead in favor of Frank. We've got a Death Bush set up.
Oh,
Wako, but he spots it out.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's just ever so aware. He knows the only way they could lose is exactly that play. Now, the Nature's Grass comes through, and it does connect, and it connects well onto Tien as well as Kurek, but those aren't the members they want. And so they are able to get out, are these Ground Zero members, but Jiang now, he's rounding them all up. He's trying to get his way in. This Pathmaker could be completely devastating, but Jimmy managed to get away from this crash down, from everything that Kurek throws out. Now this Rel is kind of nothing. Rel has used absolutely everything, and Kyling finds another 2, man. In comes all the damage. Jimmy finds 1. Wako finds 1. There's 3 left alive. With a flash forward, the twisted advance, and Fido's going to go down. It's a double kill for Wako. Lemus, this man has done so much for Ground Zero over the course of this entire year, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. And Frank Esports, it takes them a long time, but they finally turn it on and they secure themselves that position, the 3rd and final slot into our stage 2 of playoffs.
And what a statement made by them. O's completely silenced. This is especially Wako just coming back, and I mean, Jimmy and Wako, every member from even Kyling, a return to form for him, looking like his old self, just landing 3-man, 4-man Qs on this Alistar constantly. Unfortunately, Ground Zero, what a performance by them. Exceeded our expectations, both LCO teams.
Yeah.
Exceeded our expectations.
Absolutely, and I think if you're a Ground Zero fan, if you're a member of that Ground Zero team, you can go out pretty happy here, because yes, Team Bliss did better against Frank ultimately than you guys did, but I think the Frank we saw today was finally a return to form. This was the first time we have actually seen Frank come in and look like the Frank we know they can look like. And obviously, as a PCS fan going forward, you can be so happy about that, because now it looks like we have another contender, another true threat up in that top stage. All 6 teams as Jimmy and oh damn, some personality. I love that. I don't know what it means, but he told everyone to be quiet, so my bad. But yeah, I think ultimately this is the Frank we remember from the regular season. This is the Wako remember, the Jimmy and the Gemini we all remember. And I think just the right time, finally, in the most clutch of times, we have turned it all on. Yi Jiang on your screen there, a very rough start to this playoffs, but he can go home after this series and feel very, very happy, because he went against one of the best top laners that we have here in the first stage of the playoffs in 10.
Yeah, and we forget that this guy is still pretty new, Jiang.